Hi guys, welcome to the Citizen channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Please, if you are new to this channel, please push that subscribe button. We do everything City, past and present here on these little vlogs, so I do try and inform and entertain, and there's some links on screen as well for Facebook and Twitter where I do post loads of City stuff. So if you follow a friend me on there, I do check every few days and follow and friend everyone back. And if you do get a chance, please have a check out my film and TV channel as well, which I try and inform and entertain on there, and all the latest films and TV drama here in the UK and from around the world. So if you can check that out, that will be fantastic. Anyway, hope you enjoy today's feature. Welcome to the History Boys feature, where we have a stroll back. We have a stroll back to September 1979. What a time to be alive, certainly for me, for yours truly. I just purchased my first home, a terraced house in Abbey Hay, Gorton. I think it was a £500 deposit plus a mortgage of £5,000. I can't remember the exact cost a month, like 20, 30, 40 quid or something, I can't remember, but there you go. And obviously the trek to Main Road was going to change. Yeah, it was a little bit longer for me now, because obviously I'd lived in Withington on New Tree Road. If you know Withington, or you still know Withington, it's still there, of course. It was a 20-minute walk for me in the old days, and that suddenly became a two bus ride, if you like, to get to the games. And it was less than 2 months, only a few weeks into my marriage, that would last 28 years, but obviously a few weeks into it, and I was doing pretty well at work as well. I was at GEC in Trafford Park, of course, bandit country, enemy country, but I was sort of quite enjoying it there as well. But how was City doing? That's what we want to see. You don't want to listen to me blather on, do you? Well, the answer was sort of okayish, wasn't it? I mean, all right, we didn't have crystal balls at the time, so it would certainly get worse before it got better, as we know, in the late 70s. But as we prepared for a home clash against the Saints, yes, Southampton, on the 8th of September 1979, yeah, optimism was high. That was normal. It's normal for us fans. I mean, the 70s were not a bad decade. I mean, you can think of the injury to Colin Bell probably costing us a trophy or two in the cabinet, to be honest with you. But we were always optimistic. And even into this season, the 79-80 season, of course we were optimistic. Tony Buck was apparently the man in charge. Obviously, when you look at his right-hand man at the time, and chief coach was Malcolm Allison, but officially Tony Buck was in charge, although some of the movement in the transfer window, not really to me Tony Buck purchases, but and let goals, but we'll talk about that in a second anyway. As I say, on paper, it was Tony Buck with his assistant, his right-hand man, Malcolm Allison. Yeah, we underperformed. We underperformed a little the season before, the 78-79 season. Of course, we did 77-78. Had been okay after almost winning the title the season before that. But yeah, so we'd been a bit active in the transfer market. Some interesting acquisitions and some interesting let goals. Obviously, since June of the year, we'd brought in Bobby Shinton for 375,000, Mick Robinson for a hefty 750,000, Dragoslav Stepanovic, Stepi as we call him, 175,000. Steve McKenzie, yeah, he was classed, thought of as very expensive for a young player, 300,000. And just days before this Saints game, of course, the biggest purchase and the most exciting purchase of the close season, 26-year-old Mr. Steve Daly for £1,450,277. Yes, that's quite a lot of dosh. Oh, and we can't forget poor little Mr. Stuart Lee, who obviously there's been an image up there with them, the pair of them, but he was obviously the poor relation in this purchase power, 100,000 little Stuart Lee cost. But yes, what had happened previously over the previous few months, we'd lost a few big names, let's say, out of the team, didn't we? Kiddo had gone, I think, back in the March time. And obviously over between March and August this season, Owen had left, Watson, Hartford, Barnes, Shannon. Shannon had left. He was actually sat on the bench for this Southampton team, because he's actually gone there literally days before this game. So he didn't play, but he was sat on the bench watching the game with the Southampton guys, obviously. Yeah, perhaps it was a saving on wages. I mean, some big names there. Perhaps it was a saving on wages, of course. But was it like for like? Probably, possibly not. Yes, we say on hindsight, it's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But many had the foresight at the time to query what was going on, what was happening with this lot. It was unusual to say the least. I say there was. It wasn't just a hindsight thing. It was most people did sort of quibble. But again, we were fans. We were fans of the club, and who knows? We may have some magic to come over the next 2 or 3 seasons, or perhaps not. This was City's 5th game of that season, and we were in a position of 18th. Yeah, we weren't doing very well. It wasn't the greatest start, 18th out of 22. So we weren't rock bottom, but not fantastic. We'd had a poor start. We'd actually drawn at home, a 0-0 thriller. A 0-0 thriller at Main Road to Palace was the first game of the season. And then we got well beaten at Middlesbrough away from home. And then a nice, the first victory of the season, a 3-2 home victory over Brighton and Hove Albion. So that was nice. That kept the moaners at bay. We'll talk about them in a minute. That was followed by another away defeat, unfortunately, at Spurs. Yeah, one thing in the 70s, we were never particularly good away from home, really. That was the problem. We've been in League Cup action, just 4 days earlier at Main Road as well. A good crowd for a League Cup, to be honest with you. 24,000, about 24,074, about 10,000 down on the average league crowds. But we saw a 2-1 win with 2 goals from Henry, and it was a 3-2 win on aggregate. So that was good. We did actually go out in the next round, unfortunately, to Sunderland, but that's another story. A crowd, though, of 34,920 turned up at Main Road, which was about average. I think we averaged about 34,000 that season. Turned up at Main Road that day to watch the City-Southampton game. Yeah, and Southampton had just beaten Liverpool, so they're on a bit of a high. The City team that day was Corrigan, Ranson, Stepanovic, Caton, Donachie, Power, Mackenzie, Silkman, Robinson, Lee, and Dana. So there you go. And the sub was Henry. He came on in the 81st minute. Southampton was an interesting squad. 3 players who'd have City connections to come. They had Genoa in net, Genoe. They don't like Genoa, how do you pronounce it like that? Ivan Golak in defence. Yeah, he made, I did have to have a quick look. I thought, I'm sure he played for us, and he made 2 appearances in 1982. Yeah, Ivan Golak, remember him? Peach, Williams, Nicol, Waldron, Graham Baker. I didn't have to look in my books to know he played for us. 132 appearances, 6 as substitute, 21 goals between 1982 and 86. Yeah, Mr. Graham Baker. They also had Phil Boyer, another one I didn't have to look long and hard to find. 23 appearances for City, 3 as sub, 4 goals between 1980 and 82. So yeah, there's at least 3 of those guys must have made an impression because we brought them back, didn't we? Hebard, George, and Holmes made up the rest of their 11, and their sub was a guy called Hayes. It didn't go well. The crowd weren't very happy. We'll have a little piece on that in a moment, but as was the case that day, it wasn't the greatest display by City. And long-serving Saints player Nick Holmes scored the only goal of the game in a 1-0 Southampton win at Main Road. City's crowds, of course, as I said, even though they were highest, I mean, we were the 4th highest that season. Only United, Liverpool and Arsenal had better averages than us in the league, and they were all in the top 4. So obviously, the crowds never really let us down in the mid to late 70s. But as we know, if you're a City fan, as you know, we're not the most patient of fans, and even then, obviously, we liked a little bit of a moan, or certain elements of the ground like to moan. I mean, obviously, I would have been standing on the Kipax those days, and we did moan, but we did it in a more humorous, sarcastic way. I mean, other areas of the ground would start slow hand claps and stuff, but yeah, there's actually a supporter writing in the matchday programme for the Sunderland game on the League Cup 3rd round game on 26th of September 1979. A little letter that was entitled "Disgusted Supporter." This, so I'll just read out his letter that he wrote to City after this Southampton game. Along with thousands of other supporters, I was disgusted with the support from the so-called loyals from the Platt Lane, Main Stand and North Stand. So Kippax got away with it. At the recent home game with Sheffield Wednesday, so that was the League Cup. I was in the League Cup, and Southampton. I am one of the few thousand who travelled to Sheffield for the first leg, and the encouragement the Wednesday fans give to their team put you lot in the shade. He said, "Well, I think away from home we were pretty good, mate. I mean, I think just have a word for us as fans as well. You loyal City fans have a record of moaning and groaning, and when the team is struggling, you slow hand clap and never do anything to lift them." Again, this is not aimed at the Kipaks, of course. I know the lads didn't play well against Southampton, but your behaviour was a disgrace. Malcolm Allison was right to tear the old team apart. Certain old favourites didn't want to play for the Blues, and this was obvious. Give these new youngsters a chance. They need time to adapt to the First Division. All moaners should stay away. There you go. That was Mr. Stuart Reeves from Stockport. There you go. So, he wasn't impressed. I think. Well, fair enough. I mean, interesting defence of Allison there from obviously Stuart Reeves, and I think that was sort of confirmed what the fans were at the time. The City fans at the time were a little bit. Although we obviously turned up in numbers and tried to get behind our beloved Blues, there was a sort of bit of a split as to how things were going both on and off the pitch. And I wasn't disappointed. I was sort of more confused by it all, to be honest with you. And you have faith in people like Tony Buck. We probably didn't have any faith in the chairman, but we had faith in people like Tony Buck to be doing the right thing. And obviously, even Allison, of course, we still had faith in Allison at that stage that he would be doing the right thing for City as well. He was one of our legends, of course he was. Of course, City, our youngsters, we would continue to struggle. And then Southampton will go on to hammer us at the Dell. They beat us 4-1 in the following January. And they themselves didn't have a bad season, actually, finishing 8th. But obviously we struggled a bit, again, similar to the season before. After the Saints game, we as fans and the club in general, we didn't have a lot of time to dwell on this game, this defeat by Southampton, although it was disappointing because in our minds at the time there was an emotional night to come on the 11th of September when we would return to Main Road for a testimonial to say our goodbyes to, of course, King Colin Bell. So we didn't have much time to have a whinge about this, did we? But I'm sure there was no slow hand claps at that testimonial game for the King. Anyway, thanks for joining me for this History Boys feature. A look back at our wonderful historic club, of course, and a meeting with Southampton the Saints on the 8th of September 1979 at Main Road in the English First Division. No sponsors then, just the English First Division. Anyway, thanks for watching. What are you going to do the rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Till we meet here again on the Citizen channel, or perhaps have a look at my film and TV channel if you want a little rest from football. I think we all do sometimes, don't we? I try and inform and entertain on there. But wherever it is, if it's back here, all you ever ask till we meet again is please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching.